Do you ever feel like you're a referee in your own classroom, blowing the whistle and interrupting your lesson just like every 20 seconds to redirect someone who is spinning in their chair or rolling around on the floor? Maybe they're blurting out or asking completely irrelevant things. Well, if so, this episode is for you. So let's just say it out loud. Teaching lately can feel like you're officiating a very chaotic sport. You're not teaching, you're refereeing. You're saying things like, hands to yourself, or eyes up here, or stop touching that, or why in the world are you under your desk right now? And by the end of the day, well, let's face it, you're exhausted because reacting all day to that is exhausting. Now, if that sounds familiar, I've got you. I promise. Today, I'm going to share with you the 3 important things you need to consider so that you feel more like a teacher and less like a referee. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. Did you know we're having a giveaway right now? Yes, a giveaway just for teachers who are listeners of the podcast. What could you win? Well, you could win one of 3 coaching prize packs. And inside that prize pack, you'll get a free 30-minute one-on-one coaching call with me where we can chat about anything you want, from student behavior challenges, creative lesson ideas, classroom management strategies, maybe setting boundaries. Honestly, anything that you want inside of your classroom, we can chat about. You'll also get 10% off everything inside my TPT store, and you'll also get a $25 Amazon gift card, because why not? You deserve a treat. And I won't tell anybody, you don't even have to use it for your classroom. So how do you enter to get one of these 3 coaching prize packs? It's so simple. The first thing you need to do is leave a positive review of our podcast here, Enjoy Teaching Again. And if you've already done that, that's okay. That's actually fantastic. You can either share a screenshot of your review, or you can even share your favorite episode with a friend. Then the next thing I want you to do is post a screenshot of either your review or your share. And I want you to post that screenshot inside of our amazing Facebook community, Creative Teachers Building Calm and Engaged Classrooms. You can find that link so easily when you go to theinspiredclassroom.com/community. And make sure that you use the hashtag giveaway inside your post so that I can find your entry and get you entered into the raffle. Now, I'll be looking for entries all the way through the end of the day on March 26th, that's Thursday, and I'll be announcing the winner in the afternoon of March 27th on Friday, right inside our Facebook community. So again, how do you enter? Super simple. First, leave a positive review of our podcast here, Enjoy Teaching Again, or you can share your favorite episode, and then take a screenshot of your review or your share and post it inside our Facebook community with the hashtag giveaway. It's that simple, and you will be entered to win one of our 3 coaching prize packs, where you'll get a 30-minute one-on-one coaching call with me, 10% off my entire TPT store, and a $25 Amazon gift card. I can't wait to see your entry inside of our community. If you feel like you're constantly correcting behavior right now, you're not a bad teacher. You're not losing control. You're working with students who have huge emotional and regulation needs. And those needs, they show up, don't they? And they show up during learning time. And when behavior pops up during a lesson, our natural instinct is to react in the moment. And that's how we end up in referee mode. So what do I mean by that? Well, you're reacting. You're chasing the behavior that's happening. You're stopping instruction to deal with the constant interruption of what's going on in front of you. And the hardest part is that the more we react, the more exhausting teaching becomes. But here's the shift in thought that has helped so many teachers that I work with and support. Ready? Reactive behavior management never solves the root issue. It only addresses the symptom. In other words, being a referee is very different than being a coach. A referee deals with what's happening in the moment, on the field or on the court. It's a reactive job. The coach, on the other hand, is the person who's taken the time, ahead of time, to help players know what to do once they're actually on the court. So instead of more reminders, more consequences, and more behavior systems, and constantly asking, how do I stop this behavior right now? You start asking, what would prevent this behavior from happening in the first place? And that's where my reset framework comes in, because the goal of a reset isn't just to manage behavior. It's actually to build a classroom where students know how to behave, they want to behave, and are engaged enough that their behavior problems start to decrease naturally. Doesn't that sound dreamy? And 3 pieces of the reset framework are the real drivers behind that. So those are the 3 things we're going to look at closely. The first is an E step in the reset framework that stands for establishing a caring classroom culture. A caring classroom culture, well, that means students feel like they are known, they trust the teacher, and students actually trust each other. Instead of follow the rules or you're in trouble, which is totally referee talk, the culture inside your classroom becomes, this is how we treat each other here. That shift alone changes behavior dramatically if your students actually buy into it. Because we can say those words all day long until we are blue in the face, but it will go in one ear and out the other unless we actually do things inside our classroom to build the culture and not just talk about it. Ugh, that probably hurt a little bit. I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying, right? We can say these things all day long, but it really is about how we make these things part of our classroom culture that will make it to stick. So the action part of establishing this in your classroom is digging into relationship building between the teacher, you, and your students, building relationships that go peer to peer, and taking a look at how we approach our classroom every single day. You know, how we set things up inside our classroom, how we allow our students to just truly be seen and safe and connected. And chances are that's what you want. And chances are that's what you feel like you already do. The problem is that even though we want that in our classroom, our students won't actually feel it unless we do some of the work to establish that type of culture in our classroom. And if you're looking for help of how to establish a caring classroom culture where students feel like they belong and are far less likely to disrupt the environment, that is exactly what I love helping teachers do inside of the Classroom Reset, so that you're not refereeing, you're actually coaching the play before it even starts. The second part of the framework that I want to talk about is an S, the supporting students' social and emotional skills. Now, many behavior challenges are actually not defiance. They're gaps in students' skills. Sorry, that's a lot of S's. And students may not know how to, regulate their own frustration. They may not know how to collaborate with their peers. They may not know how to, handle mistakes or express their emotions appropriately. How many times have I heard teachers say that they just want their students to be able to express themselves and regulate themselves? But expecting students to behave without teaching these skills is like expecting them to read without teaching phonics. And I can totally understand if you've been caught in a trap of feeling like, students should just know this stuff. I used to feel this way 100%. For so many years, I just figured that students were learning how to be good human beings at home and in their first couple of years of school. And by the time, that I would get them, they should just know how to act like a student. But unfortunately, the reality is that so many students just do not. Sometimes it's from a lack of parental guidance, but all too often it's the way that society is influencing our kids. And I will resist the temptation to get on a soapbox about this right now, but it's important for us to realize that even the best, well-brought-up kids can lack some of these social-emotional skills that help with regulation and collaboration and taking chances and learning from their mistakes and expressing their emotions in appropriate ways. This is why SEAL, Social Emotional Artistic Learning, is such a powerful piece of the S inside the Reset framework. It gives students creative, natural ways to build emotional awareness and self-regulation skills. And when those skills grow, well, behavior improves because students actually have tools to manage themselves. And these tools, they don't need to come from an entire program or a 30-minute lesson each week. The work I want to promote inside your classroom through SEAL is integrated into what you're already doing. This way, students are building their skills along with the work that they're doing already inside your class with you. All right, finally, the third piece of the reset that really drives improved behavior is the second E that stands for engaging your students in meaningful learning. At its core, engagement prevents behavior. And when students are, moving, creating, discussing, actively participating, they're not looking for ways to entertain themselves. Instead, they're active in the work. And arts integration works beautifully here because it activates multiple parts of the brain. It deepens understanding and keeps students connected to their learning. So when learning becomes interactive and meaningful, behavior issues often drop dramatically. There was a time when I truly believed that the answer was just correcting behavior better, doing more reminders, more consequences, more redirecting. But the truth was, that was exhausting. So that's why I really wanted to share with you these 3 steps inside the Reset framework that are what drives improved behavior and really helps students' SEL skills. They are the ESE. E, establishing a caring classroom culture. S, supporting students' social emotional skills. And E, engaging your students in meaningful learning. Once I started shifting to thinking about all of this really proactively, everything changed. Transitions improved, behaviors improved, and honestly, teaching just felt so much better. I was really, truly enjoying teaching again. And that's exactly the work that we do inside the Classroom Reset. So I really want to encourage you to check out and see if this might be the right next step for you. Go to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset, RESET, because the goal isn't to referee in your classroom. It's to actually reset the field so that you can be the teacher that you truly want to be. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.